Okay, so this is gonna be for jungle, since a lot of people don't really understand. Like I've said before in my last videos, I'm making these so like people, not so much people build up this singular mindset of how to play the game, but so that they think about it in a little more broader perspective. It's kind of sad that our player base has devolved into just fighting everything all the time without understanding why they're doing it or why they should do it. So this is just to hopefully get the ball rolling on the player base actually understanding tactics and macro management and things of that nature. Um, but again, I'm known as Hiaris, K-pop Shinbi. I'm about a plat 2. I at the moment almost plat 1, plat 3 player, depending on which account you want to use. Just how that is. So first off, as a jungler, there's this there's this misconception that, or not misconception, but well, I guess you can call it that. It's that laners believe that their job is that the jungler's job is to win the lane for them, and that is not what the jungler is there for. It is not the fault of the jungler for you to lose the lane. It is up to you to set up that lane to get ganked in general. If there is no gank path, if there's no reason to be there, why the hell would the jungler waste her time there? Just like you, the jungler needs to farm. So the jungler's real objective during the game, or your main priority, are going to be the objectives, obviously, Fang and Orb, and to be consistently farming. Because if you're not farming your jungle camps, you have no way of actually getting gold or any XP in the game, right? You don't, without being a detriment to your team, of course. That's your only option, right? So, again, well, not again, but like when it comes to objectives, specifically, just a quick rundown for that. When you get to objectives, you want to at least have some kind of setup to it. Like you need to have a setup for it, right? You have to, or you risk of dying and getting your whole team wiped. Stop going in 1v5 for objectives. I see so many people do this. It is a risk that sometimes will pay off, but more often than not, you are giving them a free kill, and then you're not giving up just Fang, you're giving up another objective and more pressure on the map, giving them an even bigger lead, when all you had to do was try to get the exit kills, or just go somewhere else. Realistically speaking, you just go somewhere else. Okay, so we need to talk about Smite and camps first. Smite is obviously a jungle only item, or yeah, item. It replaces your pot, so you don't get potions and stuff like that, but you do get if I'm not mistaken, you get like about 10% or 7% healing for the Smite item. What as you're doing camps, it gives you some mana regen, it gives you some bonus damage on monsters, blah 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 blah. Right? That's not really as important. What you need to be aware of is the Smite damages are 500 and 1000 respectively, and the way you get your Smite to big Smite at 1000 is you need to kill your monster camps. You need to kill monster camps. Each camp, each monster is counted as one stack to your Smite. So if you're able to efficiently farm those monsters, you will have big Smite before your enemy does, and that is a huge advantage if you even want to bother trying to steal or contest early objectives, right? That's what you need. That's what you need. So there's different. The reason why I'm bringing this up is or at least the gold and XP counts for this thing. It has to do with when you start trying to prioritize what camps you should do versus what camps need to be taken or left behind in order to save time as you're going back and forth, right? Generally speaking, if you're looking for like XP and gold, ignore buffs, right? And I mean, like, if you are invading, ignore buffs. They give you the least amount of XP, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you take them away from the enemy, but in the time that it takes you to kill it, you could have taken 2 camps, ganked something, or just rotated, anything different. It takes blue and red buff take longer to kill than the smaller camps. It's just how that is, right? So this is more about when you get to a certain point, or if you're invading, which camps to prioritize over the others, right? So just take a quick look at XPs here, or the gold if you really want to, but XP is more important in the jungle than it is to just get gold, because if you're able to out level your enemy, those are free stats. out leveling an enemy in the early game is just free stats. It's an insane boost to stats. And if you hit level 6 first, you're in an even stronger position to fight, gank, or do anything you want on the map. So pathing's kind of wonky, would be the easiest way to say that. Um, there's many different ways that you may want to path, or how people will path in general, and there's multiple ways of doing this, and things the way people may want to do them, and sometimes it's generally up to what you want to do or what you feel you need to do, and it will change consistently. But generally speaking, there's very few, not very few, but there's general gank paths and or pathing at the beginning of the game that you may want to take, depending again on the objectives that you want. If you want to just do a full clear, not even worry about ganks, honestly, the easiest thing to do is just start on the farther side of the map and then just go across. Go across. It's the easiest thing to do. It's the fastest way to do it. You don't have to be walking back and forth between camps or walking in weird angles and trying to climb stuff consistently to clear your camps or anything like that. Just go left to right or right to left. So either you start at your 2 camp or you start on your 4 camp and then just clear directly. If you're not going to worry about ganking. If you're going to gank, there's multiple ways to do that, and it just kind of depends. People do it weirdly or oddly, but level 2 gank, all you do is you take your buff. Sorry, excuse me. For level 2 gank, you take your buff and then you go straight to the gank. Usually this is more something that you'll see in off lane, and it'll usually end up being with an invade right afterwards. So it'll be red buff straight into gank onto your off laner or mid laner. I don't know. People do weird stuff, and then you go straight for the invade. That's how that works. The other ones, if you again for off lane, the one that I like to do or prioritize the kind of gank pathing is going from 2 red 4 camp into gank, because that'll get me level 3. And it'll give me the option to see where that lane is at and whether I would bother to gank it anyways, And even then, if I have to, I'll just back to get the reset, get not even maybe get a quick item and then go straight to blue side, because I don't lose as much time if I just back instead of running across. So there's different ways to do it. You can do the same thing in blue side or mid if you really want to. It just depends. If you want to gank mid, you just do the opposite and you go 4 red 2 gank, or you go 3 camp blue. Sorry, it was 5 camp the other side. You go 3 camp blue, 4 camp into mid gank, or you do the opposite to gank dual lane. So you'd go 4 camp blue, 3 camp into gank. So invading and counter invading is something that you need to know and to be aware of. You need to know these things, because if you don't understand what to do, if you are getting invaded consistently, you have no gold and you will have no XP in the game. That's just the sad reality of it if you don't know what to do. So like top down is usually like how you're gonna start if you're gonna start invading. Like if you're gonna be heavy invade, you'll usually do a top down. Top down just means that you're going from your red side or blue side, vice versa, into their side of the jungle, right? So everyone does it differently. Some people like to just hard invade, get 2 camps and leave. I myself prefer to get buff, so I'll take blue or red, whichever one I'm at, and then I will go and invade. And I'll only do this if you know where the enemy jungler is going to start. Almost everyone starts red, so it's easier to kind of predict that. But people will try to counter that by starting blue side, or if they're playing things like Shinbi, I think it's Shinbi and Countess mostly. I'm not sure if there's another one. But Shinbi and Countess, they generally start blue side. So if you're going to invade them, you need to invade them on the opposite side of the map. But in doing that, there's a whole other issue of, 2v1 is a lot worse than possibly a 2v2, depending on the wave state and things like that. It's kind of iffy. There's higher damage being output there if you get caught. So vision is important. because vision tells you whether or not you can and or should invade. And I see people make this mistake a lot for some reason. You will see the enemy jungler on the map. Your team will tell you they're on your blue, and you don't invade. If the enemy jungler is in your jungle, you know where they are at, you should be countering them by doing exactly what they're doing, but to their jungle. That way you don't lose anything, and it's like a net even, right? Like you don't lose anything, you stay even, nothing's lost, and you know where the jungler's at. And it could set you up for another gank anywhere because you know where that jungler's going to be. So later into the game, or yeah, a little bit later into the game, having prio in lanes, if you're going to be invading, is important. Prio means that your whatever laner or wherever you're at has the ability to move to you faster than the enemy does. And that matters. It's a whole other thing. I've talked about it in another video concerning wave states and how to manage waves and such, right? So if you're trying to invade and your off laner or mid laner or all your lanes are stuck under their own tower and you try to invade, what's going to happen is you're going to get caught, or if the jungler sees you and the entire enemy team that is near you is going to hard jump you because they have control of the lane. They can move to you faster than your team can even bother with it, because if they do move, they lose XP and gold, and you have no one else to blame but yourself. The way you would want to invade, or hopefully what would end up happening, is if your laner has prio or has the ability to shove out that wave at that specific time frame as you're going in, that's ideal. You want your wave to be pushed into the enemy when you invade. So that way, if anything happens, either your offlaner or whatever lane is going to be able to keep the enemy at bay in their lane, or immediately rotate to you before the enemy can. It just minimizes the risk of dying and giving up objectives and stuff like that. So this is, again, map awareness. Map awareness, map awareness, map awareness. When I am in the jungle, I am constantly looking at my map, and I am not joking about that. I do not look at the camps I'm killing. I am looking at the map. I'm trying to see where people are moving. I'm trying to see where people might be moving. I'm looking at wave states. I'm looking at timers. You need to look at everything on the map at all times to understand where the lanes might go or be by the time you get there. So you see this a lot in lower ranks, specifically. You see this a lot in lower ranks, where the second Fang comes up, they just start spam pinging it, and they want you to run at it for some reason. There's no setup, there's no pick, nothing. They just want you to run at it and then fight while you're doing Fang. And that is stupid as shit. I'm sorry, but that's just stupid. As you go higher up in the ranks, it changes slightly, but people still have this mindset that you have to fight for every single Fang at all times. But and you don't have to. There's no point. The only one that realistically matters is third Fang. And when I say third Fang, I mean the third Fang for the enemy. Third Fang is the one that gives you permanent stats, and that's the one that's important to keep away. The other two Fangs are they're irrelevant, mostly because XP and gold can be bypassed, and or like, you have ways to fix that issue by just playing the map better or playing the waves and lane state better. Like you can minimize that effect pretty easily. So usually the way you would want to set it up, and the way a lot of people will set it up, is the second Fang is up, your duo side is at risk of getting ganked. Until that Fang dies, they are at risk of just getting camped and ganked. So you know they're going to be there. You know what the enemy jungler wants to do. You know what the enemy team wants to do. You have two options. You can just continue farming regularly. You could try to counter gank it, or you can invade, knowing where they might be at that time, right? And usually when Fang comes up, the opposite side of the enemy jungler is usually up. It changes depending on games and stuff like that, but usually when the first Fang comes up, the enemy jungle side is going to be up on the opposite side of the map, usually. So what you do is you try to get the gank, you get the pick, or you're early game, you kind of need to get the pick. You need to get it and then immediately rush to Fang. Death timers are still really low in this game, that if getting the kill doesn't assure that you get a Fang. People can get up and then get to you and kill you while you're still doing it, if you kill them. So then we need to look at what if you're not in the position to take it. Let's say you're behind or something. Dual lane is struggling. They don't have prio in lane. That if you go, you just die kind of situation. Well, what you do here is you should know that if they're going to be on that Fang, realistically, the opposite side of their jungle should be up. So you let them take Fang, and you take the entire enemy jungle on the opposite side of the map. That is what you have to do. You have to do that. Because if you don't do that, you are going to fall behind, and you did not take anything away from them. Jungle is kind of like you're just trying to make trade-offs constantly. If the enemy jungler does this, you have to do something over here. Constantly. If the enemy jungler is going to be camping this lane, you need to make sure that you're taking everything away from them that you can for doing that. You need to punish them for doing specific things, right? If they're constantly ganking, you make sure they have no fucking farm. Because if they're ganking, they can't kill their camps, so by the time they go back to get them, you already took them. You need to be constantly going back and forth between what they're doing and countering it by taking resources away from them or doing something somewhere else. If they're on Fang, you take orb kind of situation. You know, that's how it is. If they're on Fang, you take orb. If they're ganking left lane, you gank right lane. If they're in your blue side of the jungle, you take their blue side of the jungle. If they're constantly sitting on the left lane, then you know that their right lane is probably all up. Like, you just constantly do the opposite of where they're at, unless you're trying to counter it. What I mean by countering is, if you know what they're doing, you could also wait for the enemy to make a gank, sit there waiting for it to happen, and then catch them off guard. The other thing that you should be doing, or more like your team should do, is if you're not going to be playing for Fang, and you're just going to give it, they could play for exits, which means you try to get a pick or you bully them as they're leaving the pit. You're not trying to fight them. You're just trying to see if you can get something out of it before they leave. Don't force the fights, because I mean they're going to be outnumbered. You're trying to get something before they leave. So it's not as important for other lanes, but for jungle, you need to understand what your win conditions are, right? And it's a little difficult from time to time because again, solo queue is different from how you would play the game in a textbook manner. It's just different. It doesn't apply as well. These are just basic ideologies and rules and how to counter and do things within the game. But the biggest factor in all games is going to be your teammates, and that changes consistently and constantly. And you need to figure out what your priorities are and who's going to win the game for you. It could either be you, or it could be one of your teammates. And if it's not you, you need to learn or understand that you need that you can help that one person carry your game for you, right? So tank junglers specifically, it's important for them to know this, because they're not the ones that are going to be doing the all the damage out, right? They're not going to be pumping the damage out. They're going to be frontliners. They're more likely going to protect the ones that need to carry them. Bruisers is a little different. They have more freedom. They're a little bit of both. They themselves can carry games. It's just a little wonky. Assassins are the best ways to carry some of these games. If in lower ranks, lower elos, you could just instantly kill one or two people and then you instantly take something. But the issue with assassins is that they tend to fall off later into the game. And if they get CC'd, they just instantly die. Another issue is a lot of them can't solo objectives or tank them effectively, especially orb or late game fangs and things like that. You know, Primo and they tend to struggle and need help, a lot of help to do that. But again, you need to know what your win conditions are. If your mid laner is just dominating the game, that's your win condition right there. You need to help them. You need to be around them, because if they're ahead, it's more likely that they're going to get ganked and they're going to get babysat, and that they're not going to have a fun time. right? That's just how that is. On the opposite side, if you see that your lane is just dominating on their own, like they need no help. Like they don't need help. They're dominating. They're getting all their stuff is like perfect. They're not dying. They're escaping from ganks. They're 2v3ing. You don't have to deal with them. You do not need to touch them. They are winning the game for you. So all you need to do is just make it easier for them to win it by taking everything on the enemy jungle side. Because if the jungler is going to be trying to desperately bring that game back or that lane back to an even state, they have to ignore the other side of the map to do it. You take everything. You take everything on that side of the map. In terms of losing lanes, like if you have a lane that's just getting absolutely destroyed, I would recommend you ignore the shit out of them. Because even if you go, it's not going to help you as much as you would like it to. It's difficult to deal with when one of those lanes gets extremely fed, as when you're a jungler. Because a lot of characters at the moment snowball kind of quickly and out of control. So even as a jungler or whatever, it's difficult at times to deal with them. So your best bet is to just occasionally gank the lane. And I don't mean specifically go and try to get the kill. No, you go and you just say kind of like, hello, I'm here. Back off. And then that's it, right? Like they'll leave. They'll leave. But since I don't think I brought it up, I don't think I added it to this slide or slides. But there's different ways of ganking, and ganks don't necessarily need to be a kill to be effective. They do not. As long as you're able to get the blink or any kind of resource like an ultimate, the gank was successful. You don't need to chase down kills down the lane. Do not do that. There's no point unless you can obviously kill them. Fine, go for it. But you cannot get mad at your laners for not following you if they have minions under their tower. Because unless they get that kill, that don't mean shit for them at that point. Unless they get the kill. So game knowledge, right? Jungle is one of those lanes, or not lanes, one of those roles that needs to know a lot about the game. And the reason why I say they need to know a lot about the game is because they need to understand that what they do can affect every single lane or specific lanes if they don't know what they're doing. So what do I mean by this? I'm an off lane main. So this happens often when people don't know how to play jungle. Is they will either break your freezes, and a freeze is a way to play the game where you keep the minions on your side of the map, near your tower, to play safe and to deny and to set up ganks, right? And in doing this, like you have a lot of minions just sitting there building up that you haven't gotten yet. If your jungler randomly decides to come, kill all those minions after you just left, because after you set it up and you left to come back to leave them there. If your jungler comes, kills all those minions, he not only denied you about 2 waves of farm, your wave is now stuck on the enemy side of the map under their tower. They now have a massive lead over you because your jungler didn't know how to play the map. Other situations could be in mid lane or in duo where they'll just decide to sit there and wait and wait and wait and wait. And what ends up happening is they take a lot of that XP from the lane. And in mid and off lane, XP is a lot more important because it's a 1v1 situation. Any stat, any advantage is important to have. Another something a lot of junglers like fuck up on is dying before objectives. If you're the jungler and you just died, let's say death timer is at 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and you just randomly died because you decided to invade for no reason, or you tried to 1v1 someone. Well, you just gave up Primal Fang, just gave up Orb. You pretty much single-handedly lost your team the game. Okay, so this is just my little tier list here. This is just from my experience and stuff like that, and a lot of lower ranked players or mid ranked players are going to disagree with what I'm saying and stuff like that. But again, I'll say this now that this is more about solo queue than comp. Comp is a whole different beast where everyone like teams will play to set up or to make sure that the junglers can work. So things like Shinbi, though they may suck in solo queue, they are generally seen as decent. If I'm not mistaken, they could have changed. They're seen as decent in comp play because you would build around Shinbi being the jungler. Most junglers, you want them to have a little bit of everything, like CC, some sustain, the ability to wave clear, right? Or at least two of the three things: wave clear, sustain, and mobility. CC, sorry. You at least want at least two of those things to make them effective, so that way they can farm efficiently while also being able to do something in team fights and ganks. So I'll say this right now: the ones that I have in the bad list are just, again, these. This is my opinion. People may have something different. The ones in the right side, the bad list here, are things that need the team to help them in order to be effective in a lot of situations. Wukong is, I myself just think he's bad. I mean, if you play him as an assassin, he might be pretty decent because of his ability to go in and out. But in almost every rank, I've not seen a good one do much. But there are good Wukongs here and there. There just aren't many. Morn is kind of like a cheese pick. Eden is a cheese pick. I mean, if it works, it has to snowball, and if it snowballs, fine. If it doesn't, it becomes kind of like it just dies situation. Average characters here, they do enough. They're not gonna just randomly snowball. They each fit their own role. So anyone in the average one, they're decent picks and stuff like that. You know, they're just relatively decent picks. They're not amazing, they're not bad, but they do what they need to do. And as long as you understand what the character is and how they play, you'll be fine. So OP, this is the same, almost the same shit I had for offlane. I just added Seraph in this one. They're extremely easy to play. They have a stupid amount of mobility. So with mobility comes escapes. They have various options of builds. They can pretty much play however they want. They do high damage. They have team fight. They have 1v1s. They can gank. They can do a little bit of everything, right? Aurora and Yuri ultimates can change entire team fights. Aurora just has to walk at you or pop her wall, and then you're just stuck, right? Yuri is insanely mobile and can pop people while jumping around, and then her ultimate is a giant ass AoE that pulls everyone in. Seraph at the moment is just extremely difficult to lock down. She's extremely difficult to lock down, and if once she starts like getting kills and snowballing, she snowballs hard. And unless your entire team just CC locks her and focuses her, she's gonna kill everyone. I'm trying to remember if that was everything. Yeah, that was everything. Okay, so we're gonna go back to watch a vid real fast. A game I played yesterday. It is a plat diamond lobby, and it's just to show what I mean and how I play. Again, I'm not perfect. I forget a lot of these things. I'm human. I'm not the best player in the world, but basic ideas of how I'm trying to push on how people can play the game, I do them myself. Oh, my bad. I still have that on. That's before I forget. So I'm going against an enemy Shinbi, right? So my assumption at the beginning is that she's going to be at blue. That's my assumption. right here, my team already told me, and I knew where Shinbi was. My team tells me Shinbi's over here. We think she's trying to invade, right? And my team helped me here. They helped me a lot by doing this. They made sure she couldn't, and they warded this one little spot because, again, generally the way people will path is they'll go red. They'll go red into a gank path here, not gank path, invade here, right? They'll invade. So now that I know that, and I know she's not starting her camps, or at least when she would want them to, I rushed to start my stuff and start killing red. So I know she's behind now because she started late. That gives me my opening, head into her jungle and take everything. I don't know if it's warded. I don't know. But the way I'm pathing is to avoid vision. So I'm going around blue buff because by this time, the ward should have or may have died by now. So I'm avoiding the vision as much as possible. I'm going straight into the gank because there's a gank opportunity as I clear it. I go back and I get a free cyan. So because I don't have blue buff unless they look, well, even if they do look, 15 is to be about where red will clear, right? So they don't know I took her camps. They just know I came from there. So I got a free gank. I'm getting free farm. I'm already ahead by a lot. And all I'm doing is farming and integrating ganks here and there as I can get them. I'm not going out of my way to get them. They're within the way I'm pathing. You see, I'm going mid since I'm going left anyways. I go for the gank. If I can get anything, fine. If I don't, just run back to my jungle and get the clear. So right here, let's look at the difference now. She's at 15 CS right now. I'm at 32. I am at 32 CS. She's at 15. So that's a problem for XP. She's not even halfway to level 4 yet. I'm almost level 5. I already have a massive lead, right? I know I have a massive lead. And here, I was just making an assumption on what was going to happen, right? I was going to go right side and then wait for my camps to come up. But I saw that Shinbi was hanging around in that river. I'm like, hey, I can put her back even further if I go. I didn't expect to kill her. Neon popped her ass, right? So now I just denied her a river bug or seedling. I am now about 400 gold up. I'm almost double her CS. I am almost level 6. She's not even near level 5 yet. And I'm just slowly building up this advantage by consistently farming. Like, every move I make, I try to make sure that it's within where I'm pathing anyways for jungle camps. You have to do that. If you start missing your time frames or you slow down on your clear, it slows down the way you're gonna get items and it's gonna slow down your power spikes. So I see she's here. I'm just there to be annoying to her. I made sure to take river bug and straight to my camp. Why? Because it was gonna be up. Fang is up. I know this is gonna be the priority area right now because Fang is there. So I went to the left side, I'm picking up my camps, and I'm just keeping an eye on the map to see what's happening. I know Shinbi is mid right now. I know she's mid. So I'm like, you know what? I can just do Fang. Why am I doing Fang? Because I am stupidly ahead of her, and I know I have Big Smite already. So, even if Shinbi did show up, I was going to get this no matter what. It wasn't the best situation there. I fucked that because I didn't clear that one ward, right? But we still get it. We get what we need. No, we get what we need. I'm up 600 gold, almost 700 gold on her now. Right, so the game's gonna keep going. This is what I mean when I said earlier that you can see what lanes you may need to focus on or not focus on at all.
We must go.
I ganked right lane once, and now he has control of that lane. I'm not gonna touch it anymore. I don't have to. I don't have to. Again, I went red side. My counts are coming up. I take it, and then go straight to seedling. And now I'm gonna go be annoying because I have a massive lead over her. Right? I have a massive lead over her. And I know I can kill her. So I'm gonna sit here. I'm just being annoying. Forcing her out of there. I'm lucky that my team walked up and I knew that I had some backup, at least from Neon, right? So while she's doing that and she's killing them, I just got 2 more camps for free. Go straight to Orb because I know I can do it. I have Neon here. And in a lot of situations, you may want to just give this to your laner. This is just my ideology. I think I accidentally take it here. My burn from the smite item, Dagger took it. But in a lot of situations, it's better to give that to your laners so that they can just hard push waves out and stuff like that. Again, that's kind of, again, a comp mentality. A lot of times you would take it because, I mean, you puts you ahead. She was already dead mid, so I mean, I just backed. I had no reason to be there, you know. And then once they're dead, like, why go in? Why risk it? So I'm still just consistently farming. As my camps come up, or as I see them on the map, I am looking for opportunities to gank or do something as I am there. Again, right side is under control. He's doing fine over there. I don't touch it almost any of this game. Again, Fang is up. I know where they're going to be or what they want to do. We go straight Fang. She gets it, Neon dies, but in her doing that, she zoned out the enemy team, giving it to us for free. Replays get kind of weird sometimes. So now I got 3 seedlings for free. I'm up almost twice her farm. I'm up almost 2,000 gold on her. She has 1 completed item. I have about 2.5. In terms of team fighting or fighting in general, she can't do anywhere near as much as I can. So now that mid tower is gone, I went straight Shaper because I can. And then I start seeing them on wards, and that just makes it even more reason for me to just take this. Right now, this is where games tend to like slow down when there's no objectives really up to take or to deal with. But I did see an opportunity here to gank when everyone was still here for some reason. They just kind of sat in this side of the map, so it gave me time to back, ignore my camps, and go for the gank, or at least assist them as they're still pushing. After that fight, I just immediately go into her jungle and take even more farm from her because I can. I'm picking up plants, I'm going to my camps, I'm making sure I'm getting everything and anything that I can as it's up while it's in my path. Again, I got my camp, I got what I wanted, and I was already waiting for Fangtooth. I think I fucked this fight up, I don't remember. But oh no, I think we wipe him here. Right? So I'm so far ahead. I'm so far ahead of her. She can't do anything. She legitimately just cannot do anything. I'm over 100 farm over her. I'm already at 3,000 gold lead. That's an entire item over her. I have an entire item over Shinbi. And all I'm doing is try to prioritize my farm as I'm pathing to it. You need to find opportunities as they come up, as you're pathing through your jungle. And the opportunities and chances will change as the game goes on, because nothing stays the same. Again, right there, what did we do? There was a setup, we got the pick, we went for it. We knew where some of their team was at because they're on the map. So my team committed to it and we got it for free.
An allied inhibitor is under attack. An allied tower is under attack.
I see there's fights going on in mid, so I start pathing over there, right? And the reason why I didn't path there sooner is because I understand that my team is ahead and they're doing pretty well. So I feel like I don't have to babysit them as much, but I get to just kind of play safer. Again, I know where everyone is on the map right now. I know what my team is doing. Enemy jungler's dead. I'm going to take something for free. Constantly take objectives off the map. Take them off the map. They are boons to your team by either being advantageous in push or just straight up raw stats. So, Primal Fang just came up. We know it's up. And we see everyone on the opposite side of the map right now, right? We saw everyone trying to kill Iggy. We know where Mori's at. And then we have 2 enemy people dead. So we immediately jump Fang. We immediately jump Primal because it should be free. Boom, free. How do we do that? We set it up. You get the picks, you see where people are on the map, and then you make decisions based on how quickly you can do anything.
An allied tower is under attack.
I must resupply.
An allied inhibitor is under attack. Enemy has been slain.
Again, I'm just farming. I'm moving over there because I see that they kind of want to fight. I'm trying to get to Iggy, but I kind of fucked it up. He, in the end, does survive still because we got there in time. But you see, this is what I mean by pathing and what you prioritize changes constantly. If that didn't happen, I would have been happy just farming my jungle. I start taking more resources. I know we're not going to end the game just yet. So I take everything I can, or that I think I should, on the way out. See if they're still pushing mid, so I'm going to back them up.
An allied inhibitor has fallen.
I will rejoin you soon.
Everything is a setup. I see Orbis coming up, so I start pathing that way. And I'm running straight to it because either they try to do it or we take it. We have advantage on the map and we know where Murdoch is at. So I'm just gonna do it. Just start it. My team is in a better position and it's up to me to make sure I get the smite.
The enemy team has activated the Your Prime. The allied core is under attack.
I'm just making sure she can't play the game, that she can never have resources for free. anything on her side of the map is not hers anymore. It belongs to my team. Because of all the things I've been doing and the way my team's been helping me, I have a 5,000 gold lead over the enemy jungler. A 5,000 gold lead. That's all we really need to see. The game's already gonna be end here. We just wipe them at their core, right? But it's like, again, I am not the best at the game, and every character has to play slightly differently. Assassins need to play a little differently than Greystone. Greystone's an extremely heavy power farmer. He can do it extremely well. So I mean, you can just keep doing that. Kalari and Assassins are a little bit different in the way they want to play. They need to be a little more gank heavy, but they still need to be able to farm. Tanks are a little different. They can work with a little less gold income, meaning they don't need as much farm, but they still need farm, and they play a much different playstyle. They're more about CC locking for the team to kill them, and versus doing everything themselves. So again, I'm making these videos primarily to just try to advance the way players in the games think about how it should be played. Again, the way I play is very textbook. It's not really great for solo queue, because again, the way I play is more what you'll see in comp. You know, like everything's a trade-off that you need to give, and then you'll give your allies a way to gain more resources and things like that, right? Like that's how I tend to play. Solo queue is a little bit of a different beast where you need to prioritize yourself and the way you snowball the game. So again, I'm not saying everyone needs to play the way I do. I'm just saying think a little differently about how the game is played. It is a lot more complex than people think it is. It is a lot more complex than just running in and fighting nonstop at all times. There's ways to win the game by just stopping for like a second and not fighting. Alright, well, that's it. I am planning on making a support video. At least I can't do carry realistic, because I understand how carry works. I'm just really bad at the role. So that, I mean, someone else should make that. And mid isn't really something I like to play. I understand it slightly, but again, my playstyle doesn't really fit with solo queue mid.